What's going on, guys? Got a good one here for you. We are talking about 4 running backs, big name running backs, that is, that are going to decline. They're going to fall off the cliff this year, whether it be significant or just a little bit, enough so that it pushes them out of their current ADP, making them too expensive for you to buy this year, too expensive to draft. So 4 running backs, big names. You want to stay tuned for this one. Stay to the last player, because the last one is very interesting. It's kind of a boom or bust type thing, but I'm going to lean towards possibly a bust on this big name, okay? So if you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it. For a lot of people, it's off season. For this channel, we don't stop, we can't stop, we never stop, okay? So hit the bell, turn on that bell, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment below. Are you fading these 4 running backs? Are they going to actually fall off the cliff? I'd love to get your feedback as well. Now, I'm here in the SUV waiting to pick up my kids after school. Love to do these SUV rants. Love to share them with you. So make sure you guys, again, have the bell turned on. I want to make this ultra interactive to keep you guys engaged here in the off season. For everybody else, off season. For here, we go all year round, okay? And there's no off season for the Lion mentality players, fantasy football players here, sharing your passion, okay? So let's dive into these 4 players. I got some notes here for you. First one here, all right, without further ado, I've talked about him in other videos as a regression candidate this year, is Derrick Henry. Sitting against RB4, finished as a top 5 running back last year, okay? And finished as, I believe it was the 4th running back last year. 325 attempts, amazing stuff. 1,921 yards, 16 touchdowns on the ground, on a good offense with Lamar Jackson. And I knew that he would have his last hurrah. I think that last year, I believed in him because I liked the second round value. I was getting him in my drafts after I was getting Saquon, because I ended up drafting, if you guys follow this channel, I was ending up drafting after the 8th pick in all my leagues. By the way, that's one more thing. I was in like 9 leagues last year. And to be honest with you, I'm never doing it again. It's absolutely insanity because I wanted to experiment. I did like a 0 RB league, right? Where I just completely drafted with the consensus against everything I believed in. And I finished pretty much second to last in that league. I ended up going like wide receiver, tight end, or something crazy, and I followed the sheep. It was an experimental league, and I think that was like a $300 buy-in. I still experimented with it, never doing that again. But anyways, I want to get down to, this is my Dynasty League, and maybe 2 other leagues throughout the season, a big stake league, because 9 leagues is too much to manage. Not only that, I'm also managing your leagues. I'm preparing 60 rounds. I'm helping people. I'm managing the Patreon group. If you haven't joined the patreon.com/FF Counselor, I've linked it below. Make sure you guys get into the community. So again, it's just like managing all these people, helping people, and also managing 9 leagues. It was crazy. So I'm not doing it again. So going back to Derrick Henry, I like the value last year. This year, he's 31 years old. Again, coming off this astronomical pinnacle year, just under 2,000 yards, he's got a lot of mileage on him. And an indicator that I saw, and they're drafting, I think the Ravens are drafting like 27th. An indicator I saw is that about a month ago, they were interviewing Genty. I'm really, really convinced that I believe the Ravens could go running back in round 1, if not round 2, and still get a viable running back that is going to be in a position to take away from Henry. And it's not going to happen probably year 1, but if Henry slips up a bit, or any type of inkling that he's regressing, another guy could step in, especially if they draft a running back in round 1, which would be catastrophic to the running back that they're drafting. Let's say it's Caleb Johnson or someone like that, or Omarion Hampton. I don't think they'll fall. I don't think Hampton's going to fall to 27th pick. But if they get a guy like that, he could be a workhorse on his own team. If they put him with Henry, it's going to just destroy his value. But I think the Ravens might be itching to get another running back because Henry is 31 and they're sensing it. So if they're talking to Genty, which he won't fall that far anyway, unless they move up to get him, which again, I just feel they want to replace Henry. So if the team is indicating to me like, hey man, we want to move on from Henry, it's time to do it in fantasy as well. Okay. A big explanation, but I had to explain it. Okay. Number 2 here. All right. This is, I was wrong about this guy last year, and I just don't see the hype. I don't believe in him. I don't like him. Sitting as RB19, he finished 11th last year. Amongst running back is James Conner. They drafted Trey Benson last year in the 3rd round. That's pretty high draft capital for a running back who was the top prospect coming out of the draft last year. Okay? There wasn't like immense talent, or there was, but it got buried on the depth chart. Guys like Blake Corum, I have him on my dynasty team, right? Just never got going. And these guys could have been starters. They were workhorses in college. I mean, I think Trey Benson's tackle, like he broke tackles better than anybody in college last year. And then he comes on, he gets like 63 attempts, and they give it to James Conner. Like, it's crazy. Like, they just didn't run Benson at all, which is crazy. Connor, just over 1,000 yards, 236 attempts last year, 4.8 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, and he's 30 years old, right? This guy was never that good. Like, if you look at his entire career, he's 9, 10 seasons, something like that. I don't know what season he's at. But the guy's only had 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons. They were the past 2 years. So it's just about opportunity, and he had it with the Cardinals. I just don't see him continuing on. He's an average player at best. He was a backup to Le'Veon Bell, a couple years ago, or whenever he was on the Steelers. I'm not sold on Connor being that good. I'm just not. Benson's got to step up. He's got to be the RB1 this year. I'm going to have zero Connor stock. Zero. And again, he's not that expensive. He's RB19. Still expensive enough that I know he's going to fall off. 30 years old, just not doing it. He was never that good. He was just, some people argue he's awesome. He's not. He's average. He's slightly, not even say even above average. I'm just not a Connor believer at all, okay? Number 3 here. I told you to stay for the last one. It's a bit of a shocker here, but I want to talk about it. But number 3 here, a guy that's going to fall off this year, way too expensive, and he's directly copied and pasted. By the way, make sure you guys do grab the 16-round draft search. I've linked it below. You get a discount. Discount code is early, save 25%. Rankings won't help you. And this is a perfect example of it. Now, this guy could have a good year as well, but the guy I'm talking about is Devin Achane. He finished 5th last year amongst running backs, and he's ranked 5th. And we see it every year. We saw Christian McCaffrey finished on top, and they put him on top. And I said, you got to know who the regression candidates are. I just haven't seen enough out of Achane to tell me he's a top 5 running back. He's just, he's what? Under 1,000 yards last year, 4.5 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns. Now, Mostert was there. He got shipped off to the Raiders, and they don't really have anybody else. I would assume that Miami, they're picking 13th in the draft. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they go running back. And if that's the case, this is really going to shoot down Achane's value. Now, I'm still not sold also on Miami doing, being a good unit, being a good team. I'm not sold on Tua being the guy. Tyreek Hill's got his thing going. I don't know what he's doing. There was talk of him leaving Miami. Tua, every time he runs with the ball, everybody cringes that he does. God forbid he has another concussion. I'm just not sold on Miami as a whole. Achane had a decent year in fantasy points, just under 300 points fantasy PPR. He did only play 11 games in his rookie season. This is his 3rd season, 1 bad season injury-wise, 1 good season. I still have not got a good feel of what Achane can do. Like I said, even when he finished 5th, he's still under 1,000 yards rushing. I can say, well, Joey's making it up in receptions, yada, yada. I get it. I'm just not into those running backs that just do one thing, like where they're just a receiving back. I want the full deal. I want like a Saquon Barkley type running back. I want the running. I want the catching. I want everything. I'm greedy when it comes to running backs, especially running backs I'm drafting in the 1st round, which is where he's going to be possibly going to early 2nd. It's crazy. He's a top 5 running back, and I just have not seen enough out of Achane to say to myself, hey man, I trust this guy. He's my guy. I haven't seen it yet. So I think, based on where he finished last year, 5th, he's going to regress. There's a lot of good rookie running backs coming in. A lot of shifting, a lot of moving around. Again, I'm not sold on him. And you guys could be sold on. I'm personally not, okay? All right, so let's move on here. Let's talk about the last guy. Again, hit the thumbs up, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. The last guy here, I don't know how big the regression is going to be. Let's talk about it, though. It's not necessarily this is a decline, but I just want to have an open discussion. The guy I'm talking about is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley finished 2nd last year, 2,005 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 13 touchdowns on the ground, getting it done in the receiving game. Looked at some stats. His rookie year, he had 1,300 plus yards rushing. In 2022, 1,312, another good year. Only averaged 4.4 yards per carry in 2022. This was his pinnacle year. This was his top year, 5.8 yards per carry. Finished 2nd amongst running backs in fantasy points. Outstanding year, Super Bowl victory. I mean, it was Cinderella year. Perfect. It was absolutely perfect for him. Is that going to continue? I'm going to say absolutely not. It's going to regress. And it always comes to questions like, yes, we know it's going to regress. How much? I don't know. I would assume that sometimes things like this, I hope he doesn't have it, but injuries kind of set in sometimes. Coming off such a high year, you basically essentially blow your load. You're like, man, I gave it all my got. I won the Super Bowl. I almost broke records rushing. I'm like, how much more can you take? And maybe he's got a couple more good years, right? For me, becoming now the 1st overall pick, and again, I'm going to talk about this. Last time a running back did it 2 years in a row, finishing on top 2 years in a row, was Priest Holmes, 2002, 2003. It's very unlikely that running backs duplicate those numbers. That being said, I still think he's a top safe 3 pick. Personally, for me, I'm just looking elsewhere. I hope I don't even draft at the top 4 picks. I hope I draft later in the first round so that I don't have to make the Saquon decision. And I don't know, man. Injury, something's going to happen. It's just too good of a year. And I don't want to put that out there, but it's just a fact. It happens all the time. Everyone thought CMC would have the same year. I said, no, CMC is going to get hurt. I don't feel the same feeling as I did with CMC. I don't feel it's going to be as catastrophic as CMC. I knew CMC was definitely due. I don't necessarily think that Saquon's due, but I do feel that there's a regression and some sort of fall off. Okay, I'm not no psychic, nothing like that. I just having a good feeling and a gut feeling, but also seeing historically what happens to running backs off pinnacle years. It doesn't bode well for them. Okay. So Henry, Connor, Saquon, Achane, all top running backs. Connor a bit cheaper than the other guys. We look at value, but I'm telling you, man, I'm having trouble trusting these guys. I see a decline coming. All right. Let me know what you guys think below. Subscribe, smash, tap it. Go grab 16 rounds. Use promo code EARLY to get a discount. I've linked it below. And yeah, I'm just going to keep these conversations rolling. I love talking to you guys. Love talking fantasy. Make it interactive in the comments and go grab 16 rounds. Appreciate it. Turn on the bell. More content coming to you daily. I'm out.